Welcome to Pumping Python. My name is Jacob Itegboje, and in this video, I will show how to create a person. This is an exercise in creating dictionaries with functions. It assumes familiarity with those concepts, but you can still try it out even if you're not. Let's begin. First, I'm going to create my project. I call it person, and then I will make the test pass. So let's change it to false. So false, false. We have a passing test. I'm going to import the person module so that we can work with that. And then I'll put it on the side here. All right. Now I'm going to add a new test. I say test person factory self.assert equal person.factory. When I call it, I should receive none. Okay, I get an attribute error. The module person has no attribute factory. That is correct. I haven't created it yet. Let me add this error to my list of exceptions I encountered. And then I add a function named factory to the person module. Return none. We are green. Okay, now the idea here is that I can call a function and pass in keyword arguments and I should get a dictionary back. Since we're creating a person, I want to be able to pass in first name. Let's call this one baby. I want to be able to pass in a last name, say last name, and I should be able to pass in sex, say this one is F, as well as year of birth, so I know how old the person is, and I'd say this year. And then I should get a dictionary that gives me back first name, in this case baby, last name, go sex, should be F, and give me an age that's calculated based on the year of birth that's given. So in this case, I should get this year minus this year, I should get 0 back. I get a name error saying this year is not defined. That's correct, it's not defined in the test person.py file, so I define it. I say define this year, return none. I get a type error, so add that to the list of exceptions. I missed one just now. I just had a name error, so let's add that as well. Name error, type error. Okay, the factory got an unexpected keyword argument first name. Yes, when I call it now, I'm passing in 4 keyword arguments, so let's add them. So I say first name is none, and then I get an error for last name, so I say last name is none. I get an error for sex, I say sex is none, and then I get an error for year of birth, so I add that one as well, so year of birth is none. I get a new type error, unsupported operand type for subtraction of non-type and non-type. Yes, when I call this year minus this year, I'm actually trying to subtract none from none. Python doesn't do that, so I need to use something more useful. For that, I'm going to import the datetime library from the standard Python library, and then say return datetime.datetime.now.year. This uses the datetime module, uses the datetime class and datetime module, and the now method of the datetime class, which gives me the current time, and I call the year attribute to get just the year. I get an assertion error now. My factory function is returning none, but the expectation is a dictionary. So I just copy this dictionary that is expected and use it to replace none in the function. And I should get a passing test when I do that. Let's format this to make it easier to read. Last name, sex, age. All right. So we have passing test. The problem with the solution is that it's just doing the exact same thing every time. So if I make a call with a different set of values, I'm going to still get this exact same dictionary. Let's add a new test. So say test, person factory accepts variable inputs. Let's say not accepts, I say with variable inputs. It's a better name. With variable input self, and then I say self.assert equal person.factory First name, this time I'll pass me as the first name, last name, say my last name as the last name. We want sex, say I'm M, and year of birth is going to be 1983. We're expecting a dictionary back. First name is me. Last name is my last name. Sex is M. And age is a calculation of this year minus the year of birth, so 1983. Okay, the terminal shows me a difference between the dictionary I'm expecting and what it actually sent, which is always this. So we have 0 instead of 41. We have me, baby instead of me. We have last name instead of my last name, and F instead of M. To fix that, I change the factory function so that it uses the keyword arguments it gets. So I replace baby with first name, and the dictionary shows, the test shows a difference in the dictionaries. The last name matches sorry, not last name, the first name now matches. Okay, let's do the same thing for last name. And the last names now match. Let's do the same thing for sex. Okay, sex matches, and we need to do a calculation for age. So I'm going to just do the calculation from the test. I'll say this year minus year of birth, and I get a name error saying this year is not defined because it's not defined in the person module. I'll use the return value from the this year function in the test and say datetime dot now dot year minus year of birth. I get another name error because datetime is not imported in the person module, so I import it. I say import datetime, and I have passing tests. All right, fantastic. I noticed that I'm saying the same thing twice in the test. I say first name here, and I have to say it in the result. I say first name here, and I have to say the same thing in the result, which means if I decide to use a different set of values to test this function, I'm going to have an issue. So if I say this is John, for instance, I have to change it in this other place. This is a problem. To solve this, I'm going to use variables so that I only need to make the change in one place. So I say first name here is me, last name is my last name, year of birth is 1983, and my sex is M. Okay, and then I can just make references. So I say first name is first name, say last name is last name, sex is sex, year of birth, and do the same thing in the expectation of the test. So now I say first name here, and we should be green again. Yes, I say last name. Yes, sex. Yes, and then this year minus year of birth. Okay, lovely. So now if I want to make a change in the test, I'll use different values. I can just change them here. If I change the first name, the test will still pass. If I change the last name, the test will still pass. If I change the sex, the test will still pass. And if I change the year of birth, the test will still pass. I'm going to make the same change to the first test that we did. I'm going to say copy these values here. And do some formatting and remove commas. Add some spacing to the equal signs for the assignments. All right. And then make references. So first name is first name, last name is last name, sex is sex, year of birth is year of birth. First name should be first name, last name should be last name, sex should be sex, and the age should be this year minus the year of birth. All right. We're still green, so I can move on. What happens with the person factory if I don't pass in certain values, if I don't pass in certain keyword arguments. Let's test default keyword argument. To test person factory with default keyword arguments. Let's see, first name is going to be baby. No, we already did baby. Let's do a different name. And then if I don't pass in last name, I'm just going to pass in year of birth. Say that's 2014. And sex, let's say this one is male. Self.assert equal person.factory. I pass in first name is first name. I don't pass in a last name. I say year of birth is year of birth. And then I'm expecting a dictionary that's got the first name and returns me first name. It has a last name and it should default to use last name. I should get a default last name even though one wasn't provided. Sex, it should be sex. And age should be this year minus year of birth. Okay. I get an assertion error for the last name. So the factory function currently returns none as the last name, but the expectation is that I should get last name. To fix that, I just change none to last name, and we have passing tests. Let's do this again for a different keyword argument. Let's say test person factory with sex default keyword argument self. First name of this person is person, and year of birth is 1900. They've been around for a while. Self.assert equal. We'll call the person factory those values. We're going to give first name and the year of birth. And we should get still a dictionary that has all the values. So let's say first name, last name should be last name. Let's say sex should default to male just because 2 out of the last 3 persons that were created with this thing happen to be male. And then age should be this year minus year of birth. All right. And we get a difference in dictionaries for sex. It says non and male are not equal. So I change that to M. And we have passing tests. There you have it. You've seen how to create a function that takes in keyword arguments. We can give default values for the keyword arguments, so those keyword arguments can be skipped, and return a dictionary. You can return any data type with values from the keyword arguments that are passed, and even calculations from the keyword arguments that are passed. We also encountered assertion error, attribute error, name error, and type error. That's it. Do you know how to test that an exception is raised? There's a video for that. See you in the next one.